Can't hear you. Welcome to DC Alliance, everybody. Nope, you're still muted, buddy. I don't know what's going on with that. I can't hear you at all. This is a great way to start the stream. I am your co-host Travis or Joe. There's Travis. Nope. I think you pulled something, my dude. You are muted. There. Oh, I heard something.
Hello?
There it is. Hey, okay. There he is.
Hey, okay. So when we do editing, we'll chat that first 40 seconds.
That was amazing.
Yeah, that was pretty. They could not have timed that worse. But hello, welcome to chapter 204 of the DC Alliance podcast. With me, as always, it's Joe. Joe, how you doing today?
Apparently a lot better than you are doing right now.
Yeah, it's been a long week. Although today was my day off, but I've basically spent corralling the kid all day. And kind of wore me down. And props to Mom for doing that for so long. These days off, obviously I do on the weekends too, but just I was like, oh, I have a day off, but it's not really every day off when you have kids.
Yeah.
No,
that's. I mean, especially young kids.
Not really.
When they get older, they're a little more self-sufficient, which is nice.
Allison's going to a volleyball tournament on the 18th, 19th, and 20th, and taking the kid to stay with her mother. So I'll have 3 nights to myself, I guess, to podcast and do some other things. I bought 2 video games for the PlayStation 5 today, Hogwarts Legacy and Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay. So I'm going to give both of those a try. I've already tried Hogwarts a little bit, so I'm excited, obviously, after beating Spider-Man.
Yeah, I actually just beat the first Spider-Man, an old DLC today on PS5. And I just started Miles Morales a couple hours ago. So
those games are so good.
Have fun with that.
Those games are so good too. Hopefully one day we get to the DC part of things when it comes to that.
Why not?
Who knows? We're going to preview 2024 for the world of DC. But before we do that, Joe, I'm going to get the network plugs out of the way. We are part of the Geek Ultimate Alliance with 7 shows in total. On Mondays, bi-weekly, is Ranger Alliance. On Tuesdays is a walk through the multiverse. On Wednesdays is the Animation Nation. On Thursdays is Star Wars Alliance. On Fridays is Marvel Alliance. And Saturdays is DC Alliance. And Sundays monthly is World's Finest True Believers. Star Wars Alliance goes live on the Geekverse YouTube channel Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Marvel Alliance goes live Thursdays at 9-10 p.m. Eastern Time. And DC Alliance goes live Fridays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. All 3 of those shows also have their own podcast feeds. Search Marvel Alliance, DC Alliance, or Star Wars Alliance if you just want Marvel content, DC content, or Star Wars content only. But if you want all 7 shows on the GUA Podcast Network, including both my shows and Joe's shows, the Animation Nation and A Walk Through the Multiverse, stay subscribed to the GUA on your podcast app of choice. We also have a Patreon, 2 tiers, a $1 tier and a $5 tier. The $1 tier is basically a tip jar. You like what we're doing and you want to help us out any way you can. And the $5 tier is where you get your extras. You get your ad-free episodes, early access to episodes, and Patreon exclusive episodes. Myself and Joe are going through all the DC films through the years. We have Marvel Alliance's Chris and Brent doing their Infinity Saga rewatch. I think they've finally finished that with the most.
They are done. And last I talked to Chris, they are still deciding what to do next.
I pitched on the Animation Nation that they go with Marvel through the years and just cover some old Marvel movies. I want Spider-Man and X-Men's covered by them. That was just my X-Men Origins Wolverine too. I want it all covered by them.
I enjoyed that movie when it came out. I'm not gonna lie.
I can remember
it's not great. I enjoyed it though.
That leaked early, and the third act of that was no CGI.
It was unfinished. Yeah.
That leaked. I can remember that was a big deal, and that was a big talk about piracy at the time because of that. So we also have Joe's Multiverse Minutes. We have Clay doing his Marvel Snap, and we have Katie going through Star Wars canon comics. We thank all the patrons. But if you're not a patron, if you can take a quick 30 to 60 seconds to rate and review the podcast on your podcast app of choice, is always greatly appreciated. It helps other people find the shows, and that's always a good thing. Okay, Joe. One other thing, I just want to give Chris and Brent a little shout out. I was on Marvel Alliance last night talking about What If, the final few episodes, and just the season overall, and a little bit of a preview for season 3. It was a fun time, and as always, the post-credit scenes, we kind of started chatting a little bit about that. So it was a fun time. Glad to be there and excited to come back next time. Okay.
I'll finish the show eventually.
Okay, Joe. was a rough year for DC in 2023, to say the least, in terms of box office performance, uh, overall, just overall brand recognition, I guess. Uh, it's been tough, and we're going into 2024. There are no live action extended universe, like shared universe movies.
Correct.
Uh, but we do have a lot of properties, a lot more than I thought going in. And obviously, I
Yeah.
think this one that's on the list, number one for me, is number one of the ones I'm most interested in, uh, of everyone that we have here. Potentially one other one, but number one up there on the list is probably my top one. I did not make the list like that.
That's fair. Yeah, no, I guess I just assumed that with the writer's strike, everything was getting pushed
Hey,
back and gonna be coming like the back half of the year. But then the list came out. I'm like, oh yeah, that's coming out. Oh yeah. Like I completely forgot about a lot of the stuff on this list. And I'm generally excited for a lot of it.
yeah, and I guess we couldn't just dive in talking about each one individually. And the first one on the list is the Penguin, and that's the one I'm most
Yeah.
excited about. They're talking about Sopranos level, but with in the Batman world. I've loved the first. I love the Batman. I love Colin Farrell's portrayal of Penguin in the Batman. The cast is rounding into form pretty good here, and they're already up
Mm-hmm.
and running. So I'm excited to see what this is going to be. Like this is branching out of Matt Reeves' universe. If this is successful, who knows what else we could get in that universe. So I'm
Yeah.
hoping that, and that whole Arkham, we'll talk about that in a little bit, about him supposedly doing an Arkham series in the DCU. We'll talk about that. I have some opinions about that. We'll get to that later. I did not put it
Yeah,
in the show notes, but we'll get to it.
that's fine. Yeah, the Penguin series is. I mean, I'm looking forward to covering it. Looking forward to watching it. Looking forward to talking all about it. So, yeah,
It has,
everything I've
it
seen
ha-
so far has been great.
it's a cinematic quality to it, Joe. And depending on how many episodes, I'm not sure if we
Mm-hmm.
know how many episodes it is. I want to say 6 is coming to mind, but
I don't
I
remember.
don't remember if we did. Uh, Again, just give me Colin Farrell in the Penguin suit and how much that takes to get that character, and that is my number one. The second one on the list we have here is Joker 2. So this is one. This comes to me in the sequels of I never thought we needed this, but in the
Mm-hmm.
billion dollar world, you always need a sequel. How excited are you about Joker 2, Joe? And what did you think about the first Joker?
I enjoyed the first Joker. I haven't seen it since theaters, if I'm being honest. I mean, I'd watch it. I'll watch it before the second one comes out, but I'm also right there with you. Whereas, did we need it? Do we have to have a sequel? Like, I'll watch it, but I'm not like my excitement level is somewhere in the middle of like, okay, cool, new property. We're building onto an existing property that's maybe we'll get more out of. Maybe it's just gonna be 2 movies and that's it. Who knows?
My hope, I'm going to be honest with you. I watched the first Joker, thought it was a great movie, not my kind of superhero film, if I'm being honest with you. Uh,
I mean, it's more of a comic book. I would call it more on the comic book
Comic
film than
book side.
superhero.
I
Yeah,
read a more fantastical approach, if I'm
sure.
being honest with you. Even the Dark Knight stuff has some fantastical elements to me. I can understand this, and I know it's a big hit. I want this to be huge again, though. Even though I don't even think this film's going to be for me, I want this to be huge just to help repair some of the damage done to the DC brand, to get that DC emblem going first, and then getting a big hit movie. I just want that, just because obviously the butt end of a lot of jokes these days is DC. So
I think one thing in its favor is that we haven't gotten a lot of leaks out of it, and
no,
everything that has been released was officially released.
we've got like four
Um,
pictures, and they've all been officially released. We got two that we're going to
correct.
talk about here at the end, here when we get into the news.
But the biggest difference is yeah, you're right. This was a $1 billion movie that's got a sequel. The last $1 billion movie that got a sequel was Aquaman, and Aquaman 2, people just didn't care. They didn't go see it. I think the difference here is that, like I just said, no leaks.
No,
People are excited for Lady Gaga. Like I'm looking forward to her being Harley Quinn.
it's going to be
Like that's gonna
huge,
be kind of
though, when
cool.
we get to the promotion side of
Um,
this, when she's at
oh,
request her and Joaquin
100%.
Phoenix. Yeah,
Like I think this one will still do good numbers. I I would love for it to get $1 billion as well. I'm not confident in saying it will,
No,
but I
same.
think it's going to be huge,
Yeah, I think it
which is
can.
good.
I think it will be successful and profitable. I don't know how much. I'm only movie I'm calling going to be successful now is Deadpool 3. That's the only one that I can confidently speak. I think it's
For
going to be an No Way Home level event movie. I can't speak for that for
that
anything
successful. Okay.
coming up. Even Superman Legacy, just for the damage that the DC brand has taken. Now, like I said, this can go away into repairing some of that. Just being like, look at the stories. James Gunn is on here and like continued on when this was going on. So like maybe it just gets some goodwill built up for Superman Legacy. I'm hoping
Yeah.
that's the case. Um, I I think, like you said, but Lady Gaga, I think that's going to be a huge part of this. And when we get closer to the film, we'll see why. So
Yep.
again, not highest up on my want to see list, but I think it's going to be successful. On the game said, y'all noticed the relative lack of glee from a corner of the fandom re Aquaman 2 bombing compared to the Marvels? Uh, not
People are
really. I've been pretty
saps.
crazy the last couple weeks with the kid on the game, and the Marvel Alliance last night went a little late. But honestly, I again, these movies, I've always said I want both to be successful because when we get a few more misses from both sides, we're going to get less and less of these. I don't want to get back to a time where we're only getting Batman and a couple Spider-Man stories and maybe a Superman sprinkling in once every 15 years. I don't want that. I want more. I want to keep this glorious time that we're in going because I always can remember just when we just had Smallville. So, and we're not even having any movies. So I just after the Batman and Robin time. So again, I want Alden to be successful, and any people that root for movies to fail is you got a little bit of a sad life going there for sure.
I don't know if it's more rooting for them to fail. As it is, just people being complete jerks. Like the reason they're blaming Marvels on failing was because nobody liked Brie Larson.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't have a movie with females. Like,
Oh yeah,
what?
those
Shut
and
up.
they review bomb
Yeah.
again. That's just sad, and they'll probably do the same thing for Echo. They probably will.
Oh, I
It's
probably like
trolls of control.
yeah, but like Aquaman had a huge star in the
Hmm.
lead. Obviously, we watched it, we reviewed it, we enjoyed it, we really liked it, but at the end of the day, like it already dug its own grave when James Gunn back in January said we're rebooting everything, we're starting over.
I also
So
don't think it's
nobody cared.
fair. I also don't think it's fair to the Marvels because Captain Marvel was sandwiched between uh, Infinity War and Endgame. So I mean, like, come on, if you couldn't set up a movie for have a better chance to
Correct.
do
Like,
good in the
oh,
box office.
this movie's an MCU, and we have to watch it because it's connected to the bigger
What
thing.
happens if the
But it
post
really
credit
wasn't.
scene explains something going into Endgame? We got to see it. That was the talk online so much. So again, I don't think it's fair to compare that one. Now Aquaman and Aquaman 2, I think it's fair to compare because Aquaman is coming off even worse situation. But like Joe said with Aquaman 2, hard to want to go when you know this is the end of an extended universe,
Yeah,
and it's not like a big
that's really what it came down to.
triumphant ending. It's just a out with a thud. It's not like this is the Justice League
It
Part
came out. It
2.
went out with a crunch
Yeah, a crunch, Joe.
on a bug.
That's the best way to put it. The next one is the Suicide Squad anime coming out.
Isekai. Yep.
Isekai coming out from.
I'm
I
kind of
got
excited for this one only because
same.
I like anime. So like the animation looks great. I don't know. We'll see.
Geekers, what is your thoughts on people being triggered about Lois Lane of her being smarter and she should save Superman? I think it's to her character all the time. I can't remember a time for me watching, I don't regularly remember the Terry Hatcher portrayal of Lois. I'm not sure if that was more of a damsel in distress, but go all the way back for me to Erica Durant's. I haven't seen a Lois Lane not only be a badass but save Superman multiple times. So that's the kind of Lois Lane that I grew up with was the Erica Durant's one that kick butt, the roundhouse kick like Roadhouse, and
Well, and
would save Clark all the time.
even in the comics from '85 on the John Byrne era on, which people praise as being their Superman.
Yep.
That Lois was the daughter of a military general, which I mean
Yep.
she is since ever since that iteration, and she didn't take shit from nobody. But yeah, she can be dim-witted at times, and she can be a damsel in distress, but she's also I'm gonna get this story. I don't care. Basically, the Amy Adams approach.
Yeah.
Like Amy Adams was how many times did she say Superman? A
Also,
few
she was
different times,
investigating him and like taking
all the
chances.
time.
And
Like Lois saving Superman.
Bitsy
It's
Tulloch
it's
in
a
Superman and
part of
Lois
the
too.
Superman story.
Bitsy Tulloch in Superman and Lois too. Her portrayal, same thing, like cracking the cases, being the smarter one. It makes sense. It tracks Hunter, and I
Yeah.
think we're going to see that in Guns. I think Lois is going to be a very powerful character.
The problem is people want Superman to be this big muscle man who can just not save the world, but he's actually here we go.
Yeah.
All in the game. She's supposed to be a world-class investigative journalist, for crying out loud. Yeah.
Yeah. Pulitzer winner multiple times. So
although I do love in the comics from time to time and I think even in, was it in the Smallville? It might have been in the movies. Like she doesn't know how to spell, which fine,
I
whatever.
think
That's what
it
Arrow
was
before.
Smallville. It was a Smallville one. She used to get
Okay.
Clark to do typing for her, and in the animated one as well. He used to do typing
The
for
animated,
her.
I mean, it happened in the comics constantly. Like he's always asking Clark how to spell whatever, and he's always rattling it off. Like it's like, and that's just fun for them. It's easy things for the comics and easy things for the show. I'm all for it. It needs to happen. And
Same.
the
And he should
problem
inspire, doesn't he inspire women too to be like, oh, I'm gonna be a badass to
yeah,
save people as well. It doesn't,
yeah.
you
I
know.
don't have to
He
be. I
obviously
don't have to wear a cape. I don't have to have a secret identity to actually do something.
Yeah, and I just going back, like, just for example, Zack Snyder's Justice League, where the Wonder Woman was like, you can be you can be me, you can be anything you want to be. It means a little bit more when Lois is like, you can be anything you want to be to me, instead of like an Amazonian princess who jumps through the thing and throws the bomb. You know what I mean? So, like, just portrayal of people, representing people, I'm all for it there. Joe, before we get into the next piece of the preview, we'll take our first ad break. Listeners, we're an ad-supported network. We don't pick the ads or the volume. We'll give you a quick 3 count to adjust your volume, and we'll be right back in 3, 2, 1. And we're back. Okay, Joe. We got the Dead Boy Detectives on deck. Completely new cast, completely new show set in the Sandman universe. Where does this rank for you, Joe? Are you excited about this?
This is one I totally forgot was happening. And the fact that they're gonna try and put it in the Sandman universe is interesting, but I also know this is coming on Prime. No, HBO
Netflix, I think. Netflix, I think.
Is it Netflix?
Sure, I think Netflix. I do. Think
I mean, that's what I was trying to get at, because if it's on Netflix,
I think they showed the preview on the Tudum thing. I do. Tudum or Tudum. That's what they call their little Netflix streaming thing, because when you open up Netflix, it goes Tudum. That's what they call that little noise. I don't know, Joe. I'm not with the slang on.
Okay. I'll let that one pass. No, like if it's in the same universe, great. Like let them cross over. I'm all for that. But I thought it was on a different streaming service, and if they're going to try to do the crossover thing, I figured there'd be some rights issues somewhere.
I do think it's both Netflix.
Fine, great. I enjoyed them popping up in Doom Patrol.
Mm-hmm.
So I know, like you said, it's a different cast, different everything, different feel.
Yeah,
I'm fine with it. I'm looking forward to it.
We're going to give it a chance. Like gave Sandman a chance. I'm not going to lie. 10 minutes into it, I'm like, I'm staring at this guy who's butt ass naked in this jar. Like, what am I watching here? And suffice to say, I'm so glad that I stuck with it. Same thing here. We got a couple questions from Iggy. What are your thoughts on Aaron Fleischer asking that James Gunn, the Suicide Squad, making $4.7 million on streaming service, but on theater of 146? I don't count the streaming numbers for the Suicide Squad because it was in the height of COVID. It was day and date release in America as well, so a lot of people were going to stay home and watch it rather than go to the theater. I don't know if Joe feels the same, but
personally, I mean, I went and saw it in theater. I watched it at home. Personally, I don't care.
And and he also says James Gunn. People said that same guy said James Gunn's not the right person to lead DCU. So Zack Snyder. We've already had that. It's time for a new look now. We'll get a chance with Superman Legacy to see what the DCU is up for.
You want a Zack Snyder universe? Go over to Netflix, watch Army of the Dead, watch Rebel Moon.
Rebel Part 2.
Go give that stuff views because he is passionate about that.
And it's successful. He's been number one the last two weeks
there. He was number one for 2 weeks, and then it drops.
Yep. Which is it's not. But I do think you might get a number one for a week for director's cut. Like, you know what I mean? You're going to recycle that a little bit. So again,
you might even get it you'll probably get number one again leading into like when part 2 comes out.
Yeah. So again, he's happy over there, and myself and Joe, I know we both are excited for Superman Legacy and hopefully a cohesive DC universe, as well as having some Elseworld stories.
The thing about Gunn running the universe, though, is he's keeping everything close to the chest. He's not letting anybody and everybody see all the stuff. Like he's tasking the jobs to certain people that he trusts. Same thing that Snyder even said he did his movies and he let the other directors do their movies. Yeah. They're the ones that decided to jump off of, his stuff and continue on.
And then,
yes, Noel, like Superman Legacy will be it's definitely going to set a precedent. So hopefully it works. We'll see.
And on the game, I'm not talking like extraction level numbers. It's just it was top 10 for 2 weeks. I know that
it was like 3 million, 3.4 million or something like that, right? But I know it's not great.
No, it was in like the 40 million in the 10 days or 4. I can't remember now. It's not like it wasn't like Joe or some 100. I think Extraction's in the 100 million for that same amount of time.
I still haven't seen it.
Same. So, I know I haven't seen 2. I've seen 1.
I haven't seen either one.
So, on the game is right. It's not like it did win 2 weeks, but I mean, it's not. It didn't go set Netflix on fire for 2 weeks or anything. It wasn't like a.
But the problem with that, which I think Chris and I had talked about over on Walk Through the Multiverse when we covered Rebel Moon. Why would you want to watch this movie when you know the full movie is going to be coming out later?
Same. I was the same. And again, one could argue about that strategy all day long about should they have just released this cut, our cut right away. Netflix. I know what Netflix is doing. Netflix paid $200 million. They got 2 movies out of it, and they've gotten 4 cuts. So they've gotten 4 drops now. Now, when the director's cut drops, that will show me if their gamble paid off or not. If that can be number 1 for a week, I will say okay, maybe it makes sense if you add up all the totals of the 4 drops. Maybe it'll be it's like a really good thing, but that's a gamble. I wouldn't do it personally.
I would put up the full version from the start.
But I can see like just in my just the accounting side of things, I can see why you would try this. This is no different than cutting 20 minutes off a film to get more theater screens. This is another way for that, but in the streaming world.
Yeah, it's still a stupid model though.
Oh yeah, it's not. I don't think that's a smart one. The next on the docket is Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League. It's very cheap on PlayStation Online right now to buy it. I think it's $20 to buy the whole game.
Really?
Yeah, for PlayStation 5 Online. There's a holiday sale for the next 10 days, I think, still extends to. So
yeah, I'm good.
I know I went with Guardians of the Galaxy. I could have picked it, Joe. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I won't have it.
I mean, I bought Resident Evil Village today for $20 on PS5.
Ooh,
so
nice. Don't roll it. No, don't. We don't crap on Resident Evil ever.
Oh hell no.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to get a review for myself and Joe of this game. Maybe if it becomes like a $5 game, I might buy it. But until that point,
I'm sure it'll be. I'm sure it'll be a PlayStation Plus exclusive game that month free game that I still won't get because I don't have PlayStation Plus.
And Noel says, I want an all DCU slate at Comic-Con. I don't, because I'm still a little nervous that we might get a reset again in a couple years if Max gets sold, if WBD, if it gets sold. So I'm hesitant. I don't want to get another slate shown to us that we never ever see. So I just want if after Superman Legacy, if Superman Legacy is successful, roll out the red carpet. Show me everything that you got planned for Chapter 1. I don't know.
And that's fair because that'd be in 2025 when they actually would show that.
Yeah.
So for this Comic-Con, I don't know, show us some of the
Show
stuff
us
on here.
some.
Like,
Show us some. Even stuff that you've already got, that you've already announced. Show us some more of that.
yeah,
But on the game says take it slow and steady with the slate announcement. Yeah, I don't want to see another image that never ever comes to be. Next is the start of the DCU, even though they like saying Superman Legacy is the start of the DCU. Creature Commandos, Joe.
I'm looking forward to this one.
This one is the highest for me on the animation side of things, and probably number 2 or number 3 overall. I'm excited to see what DC animated studios is going to be like under Gunn Shepard for the DCU, and the fact that we're going to see these live action, these people that are voicing these guys actually be the characters in live action. I'm all for it. I know it sucks for some of the voice actor work some of the people do, but again, I think this is a cool way to do things.
But I'm definitely looking forward to that crossover of live action and animation because we've had that. Like, obviously, we have it over with Marvel right now.
Loki, we in What If Loki, Tom Hiddleston's there. We got Benedict Cumberbatch.
I mean, almost all of them, have come back and done.
ScarJo is not doing it anymore.
I said almost. Robert Downey Jr. isn't either.
Oh,
so. But like,
can't afford that fee, Joe. Can't afford that fee.
God no.
Okay. Next is Justice League: Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 1, 2, and 3. I'm not excited for this. I'm nervous. This comes out in 4 days. Part 1 does. And
for digital, I'm waiting for DVD or Blu-ray.
And I'm gonna watch it. I'm probably gonna watch it after Echo. I've already talked to the boys about that last night. Yeah, I'm hoping to see some DC animated legacy cast characters there, Joe. I'd love to see the Brave and the Bold, Batman. I'd love to see some of the Young Justice crowd. I would love to see the old New 52 universe, considering that Red Wave at the end of Constantine. But I'm not thinking any of that's going to get paid off.
No, I think we'll see the New 52 and maybe one show. But I think that's about it. I think everything else is going to be new stuff for this. Like we saw that the
what do you call society? What do you call the Crime Syndicate? Crime Syndicate.
Yes, Crime Syndicate. There we go. Like we saw them there. So like I think it's going to be. It'll be rough.
I think Chapter 1 is going to be like that, Joe. I don't think we're going to see any, but I'm hoping.
Oh God, no. 2 and 3. It's going to be 2 is going to be the death of Flash, and 3 is going to be, the end where they're trying to save everything, and everything becomes one, and maybe we'll see Creature Commandos.
I think we're going to get our wish with a version of all of our hopes and dreams of this trilogy. Yeah. I'm just glad it's ending, Clay. I'm just glad it's ending. After Warworld broke me because I was kind of excited, even though like the premise of it, you had to see the post-credit scene. It didn't make any sense. You just dropped into it, and if you didn't see a half a second at the end of the Supergirl film, you wouldn't know what was going on, and even then, you didn't really know what was going on.
That's your fault for skipping the Supergirl film.
Wonder Woman wasn't even part of the two people starting off, and you're like, what?
Because she got taken before. Look. It's not great, okay?
Here's 7 other characters we introduced in this one. Oh, it's a freaking universe. Can't wait for it to be over.
Anyway,
I knew that would happen when we got to this one.
Moving on.
A good one, Joe. A good one. The Adventures of Superman, season 2, and you and I both reviewed the first season of this show, and we loved it. We really loved it.
It was that surprise hit that just like was really good.
Yes, I remember Clay's in the chat. I remember Clay was the first one to sing his praises in the GUA chat for me, and that I saw it, I was like, okay, I think this might be interesting. Clay's, got a bit of a high bar for what he likes and what he doesn't like, so. I must say I really enjoyed this. I love Quaid's portrayal, and I'm excited to see what we're going to get going forward, because this is a little bit of a different take than we're normally used to seeing with Clark Kent Superman.
So Noel here says after DC Chapter 1 ends, maybe we'll be DC Chapter 2 at SDCC. I think because when we got the 10 projects for Chapter 1, Gunn said that wasn't all of it.
Yeah.
So we'll probably see. I could see us maybe seeing 1 or 2 more projects.
Yeah.
Of Chapter 1 at this year's Comic-Con, maybe, but definitely at 2025.
And
like, I don't think we're gonna get everything at 2025, but I think we'll definitely get more.
Yeah,
and that is after Legacy comes out and they see what it does.
And no, I also think that we're gonna. You won't worry. You're gonna get teased for Chapter 2 before Chapter 1 ends. So, like, I think even before the final couple films of Chapter 1, you'll get to know what potentially is out there for Chapter 2.
Awesome.
And yeah, so and Clay said Gunn said he revealed half the site or less than half the site. Next, another one that myself and Joe really enjoy, Superman and Lois season 4, which I'm still a little hesitant that's going to come out in 2024.
Look, I'm sure all 6 episodes will come out and they'll be fine.
I knew we would get to that point too. Because they said 10 episodes, but I don't know when they announced like Sam Lane is back for 1 episode and maybe 1 more. You're like, how many episodes are there, guys? We have not have a consistent line for that many episodes.
I really enjoyed that show, and then maybe because I watched 3 episodes a week, leading up to season 3 starting. So I really got into it, and I really enjoyed it
for season 3. Barely any breaks compared to the other 2 seasons.
I think there was like 1 break the entire time, and so that really made it like I was really excited for it. Season 3 was, I'm not gonna say it was rough, but it was interesting considering what was going on the show and what was going on in my life at the time. Well, still going on if I'm being honest, but whatever. So the way they ended it got me excited for season 4. But then when they cut 3/4 of the cast and was like, yep, we're just going to stick to these 5 people. You're ruining the show. Like you're neutering the show.
Well, again, they wasted some time focusing on the Cushings that I could have cared less about at times. But
the Iron family, you're literally, you got a wonderful character in Steel and a wonderful character in Natasha, and you're going to be like, no, we don't need them.
We'll show an episode where they get back to their home world. That's about it. I'm excited though, Joe. When we got the Doomsday Superman fight, that looked great at the end there.
Exactly.
I don't know what we're going to have going forward, and we have Luthor, maniacal Luthor, ready just for vengeance. So I'm excited to see how they're going to end that, because this is the ending. They know it's the ending, so let's hope they can really.
They actually. Yeah, I mean, look, 6 episodes. They're going to do great.
Yeah. So next on the docket, Watchmen's animated movie. Again, another one that I'm really excited for on the animated side of things. Way more than Crisis. I hope this is going to be an exact adaptation of the comic book, right up to the giant squid. So please. I'm not sure when this is going to drop.
I think he did a rocket.
we're not giving anything, but usually when the physical release of Crisis Part 1 drops, it'll either show when Part 2, like a little preview when Part 2 is going to happen, or a little preview for this film right here and when this is going to drop. So they usually stick those on the extra features of some of the physical releases.
We are supposed to be getting all 3 parts of Crisis this year, right?
Yeah,
okay.
All 3 parts this year.
Okay.
And so 4 animated movies for DC this year.
I'll take it.
One of the final 2 things, Kite Man, hell yeah. We're getting extended of the Harley Quinn universe.
We're getting another season this year, aren't we? Or is that next year?
We're getting next year, I think. We're getting another season of the show. So
Kite Man. I didn't know I wanted this, and I'm actually kind of happy to have it.
Do you replace Harley with? Do you replace Margot with Kaylee Kuko as Harley?
No.
Okay. Just checking. Just wanted to check. Animation. No,
because this is unlike the previous regime. I understand what an Elseworlds is.
Yeah.
So I understand that this Harley Quinn and Kite Man universe is its own separate thing from the rest of the DC universe
Yeah,
and like Creature Commandos.
let's just keep it
So
that way. Just like the
anyway,
Batman universe. Let's like the Reeves Batman universe. Let's just keep that there.
that's what I'm
Don't
saying.
touch that. Don't touch that.
Reeves Batman, the Joker, Todd Phillips
Con-
Joker's over here. Like
Constantine too.
hopefully.
Hopefully. The final thing, Joe, is Bat Family's TV show set in the same universe as Merry Little Batman.
Did I didn't get a chance to watch Merry Little Batman yet. Did you watch it?
Yes, it was very enjoyable, Joe. I think it was a great little family movie, and I'm interested to see more of that. I don't know if Owen Wilson is going to voice Batman or Luke Wilson, sorry, is going to voice Batman in the actual show. But again, more Batman content from all ages. That's all that I can ask for. That was
Yeah.
the son growing up.
That's fair. Okay.
So
I'll watch it eventually.
Before we get into the news, let's take our potentially final ad break of the evening. Listeners, we're an ad-supported network. We don't pick the ads or volume. Going to give you a quick 3 count to adjust your volume, and we'll be right back in 3, 2, 1. And we're back. Okay, Joe, we got some news about Margot Robbie possibly returning as Harley Quinn. I'm going to read the little quote that she gave. She said, "I've always wanted Harley to be a character that would get passed on to other actresses to play. The way that there are so many iconic male characters, that was always a dream for her. Harley's so fun and can go in so many different directions. You put her in someone else's hands, and it's like, what are they going to do with her? The options are endless. So this fuels speculation that she may not be back for Harley Quinn in this universe, even though she was one of the Peacemaker's coming back, and they're both from the Suicide Squad. That they're both appear together.
Wait, is Peacemaker coming back, or is season 2 its own thing?
No, well, Gunn has said before that it's going to be set in the DCU, and people are like, "How is it? You're going to have to watch the show to find out." And Gunn also said about the possibility of Margot Robbie playing Harley Quinn again. I haven't talked to Margot about Harley for a long time, which is weird if you've become the DCU head and and she's going to continue being this character. Just found that odd that you wouldn't reach out at some point. But I'd love to work with her again as Harley or as someone else. There's no plans at this time for anyone else to play Harley. I mean, other than in Todd's movie or the animated shows.
So, All in the Game says, got a slightly controversial take in that I didn't love Robbie's Harley Quinn and wouldn't mind a recast. Personally, I enjoyed her Harley Quinn.
Mm-hmm.
However, I'm all for a recast. I've been saying that since we heard about Gunn's new universe. Recast everybody.
John Cena's
everybody.
Like John Cena's like 51. Like, you can recast him too. Like, he doesn't need to be Peacemaker for another 10 years.
But you don't need to actually have Peacemaker. Yes, Peacemaker is now popular because of Cena and because of the show, but you can just leave that by itself. You've got so many other characters to play with. A Harley Quinn live action show in the form of like what Peacemaker was would be wonderful. You know, like I actually would be upset about that.
I agree,
because that's a character people love and people will watch it. I hate to say it this way, but I know Clay and I have always had this conversation. Clay, Chris, and I have had this conversation in our group chat about Batman comics sell because Batman is popular, which means the Batman villains, by extension, will work and are popular. So,
well, they just made this character for an animated show, and bam, it just took off a life of its own.
Exactly.
Noel says, I want a Wonder Woman at Newcastle and Harley Newcastle at SDCC. Something tells me, Noel, you might have tickets to SDCC this year. And you want all the cast announcements for yourself, which honestly, not a bad request. Not a bad request. If you're
honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they do announce Wonder Woman at Comic-Con.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I think that'd be one that they probably would announce this year.
That's something that you could do that you don't have to announce multiple movies about. And Clay said her statement this week contradicts what she said a few years ago about wanting Harley Quinn wanting to play Harley Quinn as long as Hugh Jackman played Wolverine. I'll tell you what happened.
And John Williams retired, and then he didn't retire. What?
No, I'll tell you what happened since then. A blonde, pink dressed action doll that she played, Barbie, made $1 billion.
Sure.
So times
But
have
but I'm
changed now, Clay. Her stock is as
like
high as it can possibly be.
just because somebody said something years ago saying that they
Especially
want
actors
Boost
and
forever.
actresses.
Yeah, exactly. Like they can contracts change. People can change. It's weird.
So yeah,
But again, I refer to John Williams retiring and then coming back saying, "Hey, I'm going to do some more music."
thanks, Lionel. And on the game, 1.44 billion means the ball in her court. Exactly. She's not running back to now. If Barbie bombed, she'd be like, "Hey, Gunn, what you got for me?" So, uh, when you're up on top, you are. Again, I'm excited to see Lady Gaga being Harley. Uh, I don't know. I'd rather a young Harley just to get her back, put her back, and we get to watch that growth again. Uh, have her at the Joker because we didn't really get to see a good breakup of her and the Joker because they weren't showing
What
Joker
are
at
we
the
talking about?
DC Extended Universe at the time. So
We got a wonderful breakup. It was blowing up Acme. It was great.
we got the better one in the Harley Quinn animated show.
Yeah, we did. We totally did.
Uh, so we got a little bit of details about the Batman Kate Crusader. Not a lot, but Ed Brubaker was on a podcast, and essentially Batman Kate Crusader is described as a very different to Batman the Animated Series, including more violence and noir-like tone.
Cool.
And there's just a couple other little things here rather than having to watch the whole YouTube interview. Ed Brubaker will not be part of season two's writer room due to scheduling conflicts. Early cuts of the show are being watched by Brubaker right now. Ed Rucka wrote the second episode of season one that features Renee Montoya. Haley Gross wrote an episode for the show. The show has more adult content, especially regarding violence, which is more on the graphical side, said by Brubaker, which will be quite shocking to some. And the source was the comic book club that he was on.
So honestly, what it sounds like, it's everybody who watched the animated series in the 90s when you were like 10 to
Yep.
15 years old, whatever. It sounds like this Batman grew up with you, and we're gonna be getting the Batman you want.
Yeah, and I'm all for this, Joe. It just
Oh yeah, 100%.
different takes. I'm all for different takes. Guess what? If you love Batman animated series and you don't get what you don't watch like this when you watch it, you can go back and watch every episode of Batman animated series. Nobody deleted that. It's still there. So
Well, I mean, it's currently
well,
there.
HBO Max might
Once,
delete it off the servers. Buy physical
yeah.
media, even though Best Buy is not shelving it anymore. Buy physical media. So, Joe, James Gunn kind of spoke a little bit about Superman Legacy, saying that it's going swimmingly right now. Sets are being built, costumes are being finished, and actors are studying roles. Prosthetics and VFX models are being made. Flights are booked. And he also released this picture of the architects of the DCU, including Jeremy Slater, Christina Hodson, Crystal Henry, Tom King, Peter Safran, and a few others. Drew Goddard as well, I think, is there. I saw people make fun of this. I thought this was awesome. This is your brain trust, your writer's room, and it's just showing that they're going to make things connected and kind of make a through line through the whole thing. I'm excited about this. What do you think about the little drop here of Superman Legacy starting and all this? Yeah,
I'm right there with you. Like I know for being part of the show, we kind of have to pay attention to what is being said now.
Yeah.
I know it's something I never used to do, and I still kind of don't.
If we had any content, I don't think we would have to at all even talk about it.
Well, that's
the worst thing.
That's not entirely
a couple
true.
shows like would be nice to review. Like Marvel got Echo and What If. We wouldn't have to dig through the weeds of look at James Gunn's post. But again, there is a lot of content coming out in 2024 for DC. So even though this is a slow year, because I say 2025 is going to be huge. I don't think we know everything that's even coming out yet for that time.
Oh yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So we also got James Gunn basically squashing a rumor that was going around that Clayface, Hush, Dick Grayson, and Professor Pig and Scarecrow were going to show up in the Batman Part 2. And he said,
So
no, totally made up.
I want to push back on this one a little bit, because he responded to the totally made up part. In my assumption, is to this picture that says Professor Pig and Scarecrow will join Clayface, Hush, and Dick Grayson in Batman 2. I took it as Pig and Scarecrow are not going to be in it, but Clayface, Hush, and
Ooh.
Grayson are still might be.
I
That's the
took
way
it
I
as
took it.
none of those characters are going to be in it, but I also took it as James Gunn got to stop commenting on everything, especially the Reeves universe. Just stop talking about that. Let that settle. Because
I
sorry.
agree with you on there. He needs to let Reeves do his own thing.
Yes.
I understand he is the head of it all.
Yeah.
So he has kind of some control over it, but let Reeves do his own thing.
Yes,
That
and
being
even
said,
you don't have to squash rumors about Reeves' films.
Sure. That being said, give me Clayface.
Yes, please.
Clayface, Mad Hatter. Those are the two I want the most.
Even give me Mad Hatter in the Batman, and give me
I don't care
Clayface
where.
in Brave and the Bold. Like
I don't care where. I just want them both. I want them both in the live action movie. That's what I want.
What was Guardians' budget on the game? Because that was
152 million.
the third one.
I don't know. I'm just throwing out a number. What do you want?
Oh, jeez. I thought you were actually. I was like, dang, 250 is 250. The first one was 170. So somewhere in the 250 range, I would expect, and obviously, it's going to have to be very successful for it.
I see it probably being about 200.
I hope you're right. Well, the actors are going to be low too because there's not
exactly,
many,
and they're gonna want to try and get it as low as possible, considering this past year, I think all four made maybe 200.
Yeah, that hasn't been
combined.
great. When Aquaman's the successful one, you're like, okay, yeah, we're gonna stop that. We gotta reevaluate how we do things. On a sadder note, Joe, Tom Wilkinson, the Oscar-nominated actress, best known for Carmine Falcone in Batman Begins and many other memorable roles, passed away at the age of 75. I gotta say, I thought he was fantastic in that role. He nailed it,
100%.
especially when Bruce Wayne's sitting with him and that whole monologue he does. He's great, and he got in acting late, and it just goes to show you can get something late and still have an impact.
Yeah, I'm gonna be watching Batman Begins here soon for comic book rundown reviews.
We're not too far off it as well.
Yeah, not only seeing Tom Wilkinson, like you said, he started late. So did Liam Neeson. He didn't start till he was like in his 40s, and I look at him now.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Superman Legacy has a logline that has been issued. Superman, a cub reporter in Metropolis, embarks on a journey to reconcile his Kryptonian heritage with his human upbringing as Clark Kent. In theaters July 11th, 2025.
Ooh, July 11th. When's Comic-Con? Comic-Con is usually June or July?
End of July. So 3 weeks after that.
Ugh.
Yeah, no.
We may not get much.
Also, this is a WBD thing, so WBD picture, so let's not 100% confirm the date that is going to come out on. That can change. That always changes, probably for the worse. To probably put it between two of his films. We got an Aquaman update for the box office, Joe. It finished week 2 at the U.S. box office, grossing $1.9 million on Thursday. It's now tracking to not only to drop 67% from last Thursday. It hits 89.4 million cumulative in the US, and it might not cross 100 million this weekend. It depends on how Friday performs. It's eyeing a 115 to 135 million run in the US. It's doing a little bit better overseas. So
that's
I think
good.
I don't know if it's going to be able to break even, but it might look a little worse than a little less worse than Flash.
I mean, it sucks because out of we'll just say it, out of the last 5, Black Adam was the most successful.
Yeah, which is sad. Which is very sad.
It kind of is.
And I think all these films get a little bit of a pass for their budget, just for the COVID expenses. Like that should be its own line item that should be removed because some of these got started and stopped. Like they were halted production. Also, the same thing with the strike. Not for these, but other films.
But then again, a lot of these they were promoting it COVID hit, they had to promote it again, and then promote it again because the movie got pushed back. Like, which is just adds to the budget, which sucks.
And it also kicks out like momentum too, right? You're getting
Yeah.
excited for it, and then it's pushed back, and you're getting excited for it, and then it gets pushed back. So it was a
Yeah.
tough time. I do think that a lot of these films deserve some asterisks by the box office performances in light of COVID. Yeah, I saw that as the game. I think it'd be lucky if it hit 60 million in China, because the third week. I think there's a couple big things coming that should take even more screens. So yeah, I think that 50 million would be nice, but again, it's not going to do fantastic. We knew that anyway, just from our review. Joe, we missed out apparently on a Tim Burton Catwoman spinoff. Apparently, it was described as an $18 million black and white movie, like the original Cat People of Selena, just low key living in a small town.
Look, Tim Burton is good on some things and out there on others. This is part of the out there.
After Returns, I'm glad he never made another comic book movie. I'm glad Superman Lives never got.
No, I wanted Superman Lives. Come on, I still want Superman Lives. I want like a comic book of that. Like I still want that.
That Christmas light Superman suit that he has.
I don't care. When I heard that movie was coming out, I was excited. People
don't understand, Joe, the real excitement it was back then when you didn't really have any way to know what was going on.
I found out in a Wizard magazine that it was happening, and I was excited.
Goddamn Wizard magazine flying to you after.
I still got mine.
Yeah. So we got a couple images shared from Todd Phillips about Joker 2. One is Harley Quinn looking at the Joker, which looks like in a courtroom, maybe. And the other one looks like him in a jail with the cell E258, probably in Arkham. It's nice. I wonder if she'll play a role in him getting put in Arkham instead of going to prison. That is something that I will be interested to see.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, I'm looking forward to it. So
yeah,
I didn't think I was going to, but I like Lady Gaga. So.
The email says Wednesday on Netflix did wonders for Burton's career. Yeah, he gave him an extra lease on life there on the game with that.
I still haven't watched Wednesday. I should probably watch that.
Good show. Such a good show, Joe. So we have no Smallville retro recaps this week because Talkville is still off. We're off doing that. I want to say there is going to be a survey for the GUA in a few weeks. We have one question on there that I'm hoping a lot of you will answer, which is we would like to start a comic book segment where we weekly will go through the comic books that are the DCU is going to be based off, like Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, for example, and various others, Batman, Brave and the Bold. Authority. So
Brave and the Bold we got to look into because
we'll look at runs. We'll look at runs. Because
I think that was based off of Batman and Robin, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't remember exactly what
Batman and Robin back there too. So
yeah, but I'm saying I don't know exactly which one it's based on. So we gotta look into that one.
We'll look into that one, and we have other ones, other books as well. So we'll put out a poll. The listeners will vote, and we'll start off. But we'll do all of the comic books that Gunn has highlighted that inspired some of DCU Chapter 1. So I'm hoping people will fill out the survey again. They did last time as well. And please, if you want to see that, please put yes for that specific question because I did send that one off as one that I would like to have for DC Alliance. So that'll be a few weeks, maybe a month. I'm not exactly sure on that. So don't quote a timeline on me, but
I think it's either going to be at the end of the month or beginning of next month. So
be on the lookout. Yeah,
we will.
We'll let you know. We'll let you know.
We will tweet it out. We will maybe if you guys listen to this maybe it'll be a link in the show notes. We'll figure something because I know on the game you're not on social media.
Yeah.
So
we'll probably have it in the show notes on the game as well. We would like to hear your opinion. Guy Chair who dropping the back budgets on us, which are very helpful all the time. Joe, I'm ready to call this a night. I got some shoveling to do in the morning as there's a snowstorm happening right outside, so I'm going to go rest up after I edit this. I hope you have a good evening. Same thing to the listeners.
Yep.
Later, everyone.
Bye, y'all.